ways. I've been balling for the moment, but can't sight the better days. You fell off and now you lost the shit that you was just a phase. I became this on my own, no, this is not how I was raised.
All right, man. Well, I mean, thanks for doing this. I figured it'd be a cool idea to take some of the guys that I like and know, and I know have good basketball stuff, and I'll do this with a few guys and, you know, put it out there. So, I really got one question, and I figured we'll just talk on it. So, right now, I guess, what is your, like, in the moment basketball thoughts? Like, you know what I mean? You got every year, every season, you kind of have like things brewing in your mind that you're on. I know I'm that way, so I want to get your take real quick on what are you on right now?
Well, like right now, you know, what you're trying to do is put all those pieces together so that we have a team that I can put on the court that is capable of being the best they can possibly be, and trying to figure out what that entails. From both a physical standpoint, from a mental standpoint, from a team chemistry standpoint.
Yeah.
Trying to find all the pieces. I'm finding some pieces that are broken that I need to fix, whether it's attitudes or whether it's work ethic or things of that nature. And like, in order for us to be successful, this guy's got to be able to play at this capacity, you know. And sometimes, and if they're not, it's my job to get it done and get it going right now, because you can't wait until January and fix it.
So that's all I was about to just ask. From your view of it, like for a high school kid who's gonna watch this, right, from anywhere, how early are you legitimately like sizing up your kids who are gonna get minutes and not get minutes? Like, how early are you really looking at that? And this is something we have to like bring up all the time in the gym.
Yeah, I'm always looking at that. Yesterday we were talking about this year, and I mentioned, to a couple of my assistants, I said, all right, let's take out the seniors and let's see what we got coming next the following year after that.
Okay.
What do we have? What do we need? Who do we need to develop? Because those situations, you have to possibly keep kids down at different levels. I remember having a kid, Hayden Mitchell, who won a gold medal WPIAL championship.
Mm-hmm.
Probably one of my best players. The opposing coaches didn't know he's my best player. They guard everybody else.
Okay, yeah.
And Hayden was a fantastic player. Couldn't handle the ball very well as a freshman.
Yeah.
But I liked him a lot. So I took all the guards up to the JV team. I left Hayden down on the freshman team.
Okay.
And told the coach, I want to handle the basketball every minute.
Right. But you knew that ahead of time. Like, you already, even though he was out of the varsity program, you as the head coach knew about the kid, knew what he needed, and when he got left back in the freshman team, it wasn't like he was getting left back because you had no plan for him. You actually did have a plan for him. That was the plan. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the other plans, sometimes you take these bigs and you bring them up, and guys like Grant Latus, PAC, rebounder, and
I remember Grant.
Dio Turman, just had Caden Hinckley signed with Italy.
Okay.
With this Class C professional league. I mean, this is a kid that was cut his freshman year, didn't play his sophomore year. So, I mean, you have to look at all these kids and how can they develop and how can they get better and how can they improve.
Okay, I want to stop you on that and ask you about that, because I have a theory on that, and I don't know if it's true or not. It's just what I've seen. So the kid.
Theories are true, James.
Oh, okay. Appreciate that. A bunch of people in my comments will disagree with you. That's all right. Or parents who have left my program, they'll disagree with you. But the kid who got cut from the freshman team, right, and is now playing in Italy. What year did he get cut? What year would that have been?
He got cut as a freshman. I did not know about it because he came to a freshman tryout, and I normally get over there all the time and check everybody out, and he had just moved in, and it wasn't really good. I mean, I looked at them all, and it never stood out.
He never stood out.
Let my freshman coaches kind of make some decisions. I try to impart what I want to impart upon them. Cut height and things like that, but he wasn't overly tall. And then came back out his sophomore year. I said, "Who are you?" And he said, "My name's Caden Hinckley." And I moved in last year and was cut as a freshman to come out again. And I said, all right, well, let's see what you got. And he worked harder and harder and grew and
Yeah.
you know, had a wonderful career. Was a PAC Player of the Year this year for Allegheny College.
Okay.
And,
Okay.
just signed over to Italy. I mean, so Dion, you know, played professionally in some leagues over there. Dion Turman,
Yeah.
Grant Latus was cut as an 8th grader. Didn't make the 8th grade travel team here in Mount Lebanon.
Yeah.
Walked into my gym, looked down at his feet. He said, Coach, I'm not that good. You know, I haven't played a lot of basketball. I said, what size are those shoes?
Yeah.
He says, 17. I said, well, you're on the JV team. I don't know what you'll be okay.
Yeah. So I mean, there's two things there to me. It's one, is as much as people don't want to say it, size matters. It absolutely matters. And the truth of the matter, I was a little guy, still a little guy. So like, we don't get the benefit of the doubt, right?
Right.
If you see a big kid, what size of your shoes you're on the JV team, period. There's something to be said about that. And really, most coaches would probably be a fool if you didn't give that kid a shot. Like, because regardless of his basketball ability, especially at the high school level, if you can at least rebound and defend at the basket, you're in a good spot for sure. So even if he's a big kid, you at least got to say, okay, can I at least get him to do that?
Yeah, and again, if you're a coach, then coach. You know, if you're a coach, then help the kid out and see what he can do. Some kids you can see have the passion to do that. Some kids don't. And,
right.
You know, you can try the best you can, but if they don't have that burning desire to come out and get better and improve and want to be a basketball player, you're not going to, you know, make too much of a headway with them. But I had a young man yesterday that moved in who's going to be big. You know, he's 6'4", is a freshman, but needs a lot of work.
Yeah.
I think the other thing you have to make sure with the bigs is not only do you have to be patient, but you have to explain to them how patient they need to be.
Yeah.
And say, look, this thing may not happen until your senior year.
Yeah, and hey, that is hard for people to swallow. Like people will there's been kids in your program. I'm not gonna call them out at the moment, but kids in your, when a parent calls and I flat out tell them, like, after seeing them, I can see a kid for 3 minutes, man. You don't have to see him for, you know. I'm like, listen, can he get something out of his high school career? Maybe, but he's a year and a half away. Like, literally, he's a year and a half away, and people hate hearing that. You know what I mean? But you can't make a miracle.
What's that?
You can't make a miracle. You know what I mean?
No, you can. And sometimes, you know, it's maturity, it's size. You know, with basketball, I always say with basketball, look, you have to have one of two things. You have to be either fast or you got to be tall.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can be slow, but you gotta be tall.
Yeah.
All right. And you can be short, but you gotta be quick.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't be short and slow.
Yeah.
You know, in basketball, it's kind of hard.
It's gonna be tough.
So a lot of the basketball is the genetics. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Look, my best player last year, you know, Lucas Garofalo was 5'6".
He was your best player.
You know?
Yeah.
And Lucas played his tail off and played hard. But there's not a whole lot of college coaches going to take their chance with him.
Did he get anywhere? Did anyone take him?
No, he didn't.
Yeah.
No, he didn't. But,
yeah.
And you know, they won't take that chance because because of his size. But
see, I argue against that. I think that's like I played in the pack. I played Division III ball. Okay, so like, there are some bums in the pack. There are some bums. There's some bums in the PSAC. And like, I know for sure, because I got another kid. I don't know if you ever knew a kid named Ryan Herman. He's like 5'7", 5'6". He was at West Allegheny. I think he graduated in, what was that, maybe like 21 now. But I know for sure I couldn't get anyone in the pack to take him. He's better than some of those kids on those rosters. You had a kid who played for you last year who's going to go play in the pack. I know Lucas is better than that kid. And Ryan Herman's better than that kid. As far as impact on the floor, is what the production.
You know, Lucas, you know, if a coach Lucas is undoubtedly a Division III basketball player.
No question.
You know, undoubtedly. It's just a fact that will a coach look at him? Does he pass the vision test? You know?
Yeah.
Look at him like, how am I going to get this kid? But watch him play. Watch what he does. Watch what he brings to your practice.
Yep.
Watch what he brings to your bench.
Yep.
Watch what he brings to the second team against the first team every day. And I'm almost guarantee you, at a certain point of his career, he's going to go in there and knock some threes down and win you a game.
For sure, make some clutch decisions, hit a big shot. He was also a little bit vocal in those practices. Like, I think that, especially at the Division III level, I don't know how much you've observed Division III level, but since I played there for 3 years, you know, I saw a lot. Like, those coaches don't have to. You gotta remember, they don't have a budget. They don't have, hey, you have X amount of dollars this year to give out to players. They don't have one. They don't have to worry about that. So a lot of the time what they do is they flat out don't recruit at all, or they recruit very little, or they recruit very lax because there's no loss for them. They could, like my coach used to do this all the time. My coach was not a great guy. He wasn't a great coach. We don't have a relationship at this time, but he used to do this where he would kind of sell a dream almost to like 40 kids. And then what he would do is, that's messed up because they got to come to school. Right? They would show up thinking they're on the team, and he would cut them after like the first couple. He would cut them after the first couple weeks of practice, or he wouldn't cut them. He'd give them the jersey. They'd be on the team, and a month would go by, and he would basically cut them and tell them to leave. And so a lot of division.
Those coaches, D3 coaches, still do that.
Still do that.
11 freshmen.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
You watch them warm up, and there's 22 kids warming up for the game, and they're only playing a few, and that's why.
Yep.
They just fall away by the wayside.
I had a kid just coming in here and just shoot a little bit. He's playing Division III ball. His team is like that. They got 1 million kids. But my point getting at with that is because they don't necessarily have to hard evaluate, they miss kids like a Lucas. If you really look and evaluate and understand, you'll look a little bit deeper and understand that he can help your program. But unfortunately, that's wishful thinking. It just doesn't work that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But and I want to hit back on the kid who got cut as a 9th grader who's playing in Italy, the Caden kid. So see, here's my belief. My belief was when he got cut in 9th grade, your coach, I'm not meaning to down anybody, but whoever your 9th grade coach was just couldn't see what was there. That's my opinion. There's no way the kid was just horrible and then in 4 or 5 short years is going to go play overseas. He wasn't that bad. There's no way he was that bad. Maybe he was, and it was a miracle. I doubt it. I think the coach probably missed something that he could have dug deeper on and pulled out of the kid. That's my belief.
Maybe. I think that with Caden's situation, he grew, and then I had him as a sophomore year, and it was just developmental, and he didn't play a whole lot of sophomore year.
Yeah.
But he kept growing and getting better. But he wanted to be good. He wanted to, and every day he got better and better and better. And and you got to coach him. You got to coach him. You can't just, I can't just come back home and cross my fingers and hope when I go to the practice the next day he's better.
Right.
If I can look myself in the mirror and say, now what did you do to help this young man get better?
Right.
Did you put him on the right path? Did you give him the right drills? Are you working with him? You talking to him and things like that. I think that's really the key.
Yeah. So I mean, kind of off of that point, again, from what I've seen in our area, there's kind of there's coaches who are basketball junkies, and then there's coaches who are just coaches because they're in it, right? I don't want to say go through the motions, but they're just coaches. And there's nothing wrong with one or the two. It's just the reality that there's 2 different categories there. So for a guy like yourself, who I know is a basketball junkie, how do you deal with a high school program, a high school team that you don't have 12 kids who are all in hoops. You don't have 12 kids who are basketball only. You don't have kids showing up every day at practice trying to necessarily live their dreams. Some of them are just there, right? How do you get fired up every day to go do it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a great question, man. It's really a great question. I think you just enjoy the game. You enjoy coaching, and 1 year we ended up making the playoffs. I remember telling my assistants, like, look, we're not going to be that good.
Yeah.
We don't have a whole lot of talent, but isn't that why we coach?
Right.
Like, if I'm going to call myself a coach, well then, look, here, take these guys that don't have a whole lot of talent and coach them.
Yeah.
And see what you can do with them. That's coaching.
That's the exciting part, right?
That's the exciting part, and sometimes maybe it's to get into can we make the playoffs?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe we know we don't have enough to win it all, but can we upset a few teams that were ranked high and make these kids remember those games the rest of their life and pull that upset off? And that's satisfying too. You know? And so, like I said, I'll go to battle with a group that wants to compete and wants to work hard. I mean, I'm fine with that. If we don't have enough, so be it. Like, I love those guys.
Yep. I think how much I don't know. Did you articulate that to that group? How much do you articulate things like that to your kids? And I'm gonna tell you why I'm asking that question, because I see, again, I've been doing this a long time now, since 2013. So I've dealt with a lot of kids, seen a lot of different situations. We deal with so many kids who are they got the wrong mental mindset, because to them it's either like a D1 or bust type of thing, or I gotta be popular and scoring the most points on the team, or I'm failing. There's never an understanding of, no, you stink. Your mom's 5'7", your dad's 5'8". You can't jump over 2 phone books. It's amazing for you to even be on this damn team. Like, that's a win in itself. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So how do you articulate to those kids that I know you're not very talented, and I'm taking on the challenge, and you should take on the challenge, knowing you're not very talented, and our win is just getting to the playoffs? Like, where does that fall in your discussion?
I think, and I've always tried to be, pretty honest with my team.
Yeah.
So that when I do say to them, hey, I think we have enough. I think we can get there. I think we can bring this thing home this year.
Yeah.
That they believe me.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're smart. I think if I took a group that looked around and said, we haven't won, 4 games since the 7th grade, and I do believe in those situations. I've said that to them. Look, I know you haven't been overly successful. I know this team has kicked your butt, and that team's program's kicked your butt, but this is going to change. We're going to get better and better and better, and let's see where this takes us. But I'm pretty reluctant to tell a group that I don't think can be there, to make it to a championship, to win a championship. I'll maybe hint at it, because you always want them to believe.
Yeah.
Believe. But yet I know that they're smart. You know what I mean? And I think they can see if I'm just feeding them.
Yeah, you can't bullshit them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I don't want to ever really do that. And
Right.
I know I've said to certain teams, look, you know what everybody's saying about us. You know what they're saying about us.
Yeah.
They're saying, I don't have any talent. They lost so and so. They ain't got nothing. We're gonna get 2 games from them. That's what they're all saying.
Right.
But I know better. I think we can achieve more than that.
Yeah.
And I think they have to believe. That belief is the ability to believe and instill that belief in these young men and in your group is just so imperative.
Right.
When you're coaching a team, and if you don't have that something to aspire to, it's going to be a long, long year. You know? 'Cause, you're in public school. I mean, I always say it's like playing cards. Sometimes I turn them over and I got a 4, a 6, an 8. I got to bluff my way through it. Sometimes I turn them over, I got 2 pairs, aces and kings, and that's going to be a pretty good year.
It's the luck of the draw, man. You might have 4, 5, 6 years where, for whatever reason, it's a downer. Like, it just is what it is.
And to me, and haven't been there 23 years, I've had those years where everybody said, this is that year where we're kicking Mount Lebanon's can twice this year. Yep. And they haven't. We've gotten them, and that's been as satisfying as winning championships.
For sure.
Say, hey, this team may have been 16 and 10 or whatever it may be, but we have some pretty marquee wins on our belt, and these guys who got blistered by 20-some points by another school district for the last. They got them finally.
They got them. Right.
Yeah. So the only team that I ever had not taken to the playoffs was a team, and we ended up in last place, but we beat the number 1 team, McKeesport, at their home on their senior night to end our season.
That was the win for you. Yeah.
And that was it. And we were going to wait here the next day, and the next year we're going to Whitfield playoffs, Whitfield championship.
Right.
Same group. But that group, I said to myself that year, I said, look, this is not a year thing. This is a 2-year thing. We're starting right now. For 2 years from now, this
I love that.
Whitfield champion.
I love that, and that's why I like Coach David, man, because you're a culture guy, you're a program guy, like a get in the mud and build it guy, and like dealing with the landscape of the college kids, the college recruiting, and everything being one and done, the NBA landscape, which really, if you really think about it, influenced this. People just, one and done, jumping teams, and the culture that has become. I still believe that the best way to go for you to put your head down at night and be satisfied with what you're doing is to just get in the mud and build something solid. Let the other pieces float around. And you might win, you might not, but at the end of the day, you can hang that hat the correct way. That's the type of dude I am. You know what I mean? And
and I tell my team all the time, they hear this as nothing wrong with being a plow mule.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it goes for coaches too.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes too, you gotta be that plow mule, and you just gotta work your can off, because you don't know when you might be beating your head against the wall and say, I don't think this team's going to win a game, or
right.
And then all of a sudden they surprise you.
Yeah.
I've coached a lot of games. There's only one game that I thought that maybe I was going to lose.
Okay.
And that was against Montverde Academy.
Okay. Yep.
Okay?
Yeah.
And
You're losing that one.
Yeah, they were ranked 10th in the country.
Yeah.
And I said, we're in South Beach. And I said, look, let's go out. We got them in the afternoon, like at 5 o'clock or something in the semifinals.
Yeah.
We went to South Beach. They frolicked around the sand. They jumped in the ocean.
Yep.
We had a great time. We got dressed and went there. And we were 18-1, I think, the first quarter. They were beating us.
Yep.
They ended up tying it at halftime. We beat them by 13. Probably the greatest win.
I didn't know that story till you just told me that. I didn't know that.
All in history. We beat, and of course, the Mike Whites who were all like, hey, did they have all their guys? Yeah, they had all their guys.
Yeah.
The guy going to Villanova, the guy going to Boston College.
Right.
They had everybody.
Yeah.
We just put a 1-2-2 matchup on them. They had some trouble with them. We made some shots, and but
if I were you, dude, I'd be telling that story often. If I were you, I'd be telling it often. Seriously.
Well, Montverde, they were. They ended up
absolutely
being, number 2 that year. They played in the national championship that
yeah.
year. And it was kind of cool to look at their record and see, 26-3 or 26-2, whatever.
And no,
you're one of those ones.
You're in that one of those ones. I mean, even right now, dude, I believe they're still number 1 in the country. They've never been more sought after right now, Montverde.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, well, here's. Go ahead.
No, I said they brought 9 guys in the same, beige pants and white Montverde shirt with clipboards to our game the game before, and it was just me and my assistant coach. I said, look at these guys.
That's funny, man.
They got 9 guys out there scouting this game for the game tomorrow. And
yeah.
I said, we're going out and having a good time. We ain't worried about it.
Right. Well, it's a one thing that I like, which is, again, it's just tough to wrap my head around from a public school standpoint. But you do a good job of trying to run a all year round program essentially and stay plugged in. But I'm what I do this business, this academy, it is all year round. It's full-time basketball. So schools like, I think I posted something this today. I was gonna ask you something different for the last question. I'm gonna ask you about this. What do you think about this? So imagine if Mount Lebanon, Bethel Park, Peters Township, whoever, right? I don't know. I find it hard to believe that they can't come up with a salary, a full-time salary to pay a football coach, a basketball coach, a baseball coach. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm naive to it. I bet you could hire somebody at $60,000-$70,000 a year to be a full-time, like Montverde or like these other, to be a full-time basketball coach. Bring in a guy who's like yourself, who's a cut above, who's not just somebody who got the job, right? There's a guy this year, it's a kid I'm not going to blast people like this. There's somebody who got hired at a big school like this year. He never played varsity basketball. He went to Bethel Park. I don't know what background they like. I just think that we're in a time where sports is too popular. Basketball is too popular. I have a hard time believing anybody who tells me that the academics is so far ahead of the sports at the high school level. I don't believe that. This mother called me yesterday from New York and was telling me that she didn't want her daughter to leave this school because of the academics, but yet they have no basketball team. I just think that's insane. But she wants to play college basketball. To me, I don't believe that. All these kids, the kids at Mount Lebanon are freaking brains. They get 4.6. That's nothing special. They all do that. The separator is the other stuff. And if you're a star basketball player, that's a big separator in a lot of different ways. So I just think, what do you think about someone like yourself being a full-time coach at Mount Lebanon? Is that good? Is that bad? Does that hurt?
Well,
does it turn it too much to a...
I don't disagree with what you're saying, and I think you're saying the right things. You're saying the fact that as a coach of any sport, your impact on that young man or young girl, young lady, can be as impactful as anybody that she comes across from an academic standpoint.
Yeah.
Or more so because you're spending more time with them.
Way more.
And you're imparting a lot of culture and values on them. So,
yeah.
I think that's, if you're talking about rewarding importance to a young person's life,
yeah.
and I totally agree with you. Will it ever happen? I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I never, like I said, I don't think so. I know, I've been making the same 10,000 I've made the last 15, 20 years, and I'm not in it for the money. I try to take whatever I make and give it to something that I think is a worthy cause, because this game has given me so much.
Yeah.
It's given me everything I've had in my life, indirectly or directly, and so this is just a way for me to give back. And when I took the job, I want to be able to teach young men and have them grow up, give something back to the game that I love, teach them life lessons through the game of basketball. And really, sometimes you can do that as effectively if you have a championship season or if you have a downer season.
Right.
If you can impact those young men the same way. My father coaches Chartiers Valley. I don't think he ever won a championship. But, I'm a physical therapist, and I've taken care of a lot of his ex-players. And the things they say to me about him and the impact that he had on them, and they never won a championship. And I don't think they're ever that good.
Right.
His impact on those young men and them being able to quote some of the things he used to say. And your dad did this, and your father did that. I think that's, the Coach Wooden of the world, those guys that have impacted people way more than I'll ever be able to. Those guys are, few and far between, and they should be rewarded. A lot of great high school coaches, a lot of impactful high school coaches. It's a shame that every now and then some of the other extracurricular stuff gets in the way of that. You could be a coach for 20, 30 years, and someone could say, well, you said this or he said that, or and all of a sudden you're out.
It's a goofy world we live in. It's a goofy world we live in.
It is goofy, and but it may happen, and if it happens, it does. But as long as you can go home, look yourself in the mirror, and say, I did the best thing. I was honest. I said what I needed to say. I was truthful. Then you got nothing to worry about.
Right. Yeah. Nah, I mean, like I said, man, that's why I like you, because that's my philosophy. You know what I mean? And that's how I view it. And I wish that's how more kids would view it. And some of them do, but I think
you're honest. And I'm not saying this because I'm on your thing. And I've told you this to your face. And, that I listen to your stuff. I watch your stuff. It's good stuff. You say it honestly. Sometimes you say the things that I can't say.
Yeah.
Because that comes back to me. Hey, you say that or blah blah. You can say.
Hey, I had a Division I college coach from out in California tell me that last week. So it's not just high school coaches. It's
You say the things we kind of want to say, and you're able to do so. And I have so much respect for you and what you do, and you work with our guys, and and the ultimate respect is what I've said. Hey, if you ever get the chance, you come with me.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
So that's the ultimate respect. That's all I can kind of say to show how much I respect it. But,
absolutely.
What you say and what I do, what you do, and I have my players say, look, you follow him, you listen to him.
Yeah.
Here's see what he has to say. He's teaching good stuff, and not sometimes it's not just the X's and the O's. It's the ones where you're in your car and just talking off the top of your head. And I think that they need to hear that stuff, because they probably don't hear that stuff. They can't usually hear it from me. They won't hear it from the home.
Right.
So it's nice for them to hear it from
me.
me,
Absolutely. And, it's funny, man, just like you, the way that you've done your thing at Mount Lebanon for 23 years, the time that I've done doing this, it's all just comes, I didn't say any of these things when I started. As time goes along, and you feel the temperature, like I need to say it right now for this kid, right now for that kid. Before you know it, you're saying it constantly, because it's what is required to hit the end goal, which is progress, period. To get you to progress, like I have to say these things, so it's just part of building a culture, and because we have a solid program that never stops, it has to be deep rooted in culture. Otherwise, you're just showing up to a gym. You can go anywhere for that. You know what I mean? So, part of it.
And that's the thing I think people say when they come into our gym. They always say it's a different type of atmosphere in our gym. Like college coaches come in, college players come in. Like, it's not like this. Players will leave me and go play somewhere else. They come back to the coach. It's not like this in our gym. Sometimes all you hear is shoes squeaking and stuff. The energy in this gym is cool. It's palpable. And again, I think what you're saying is correct. And that's just been passed along from generation, year after year after year.
Right.
Sometimes as a coach, you got to come in there and impart that upon them.
Yeah, for sure.
You had a big graduation class, and you don't have the leadership you want to say, listen, this is how we act, this is how we do things.
Yeah.
So let's get it right. Let's get it together.
Yeah. Thanks, man. I appreciate you, Coach David. Mount Lebanon High School. Hopefully we can help you guys out a little bit again this year. Getting busier as the year goes on, so it'll keep getting trickier. But, we have enough of your guys. And, it's fun, man. It's fun just being able to even get in, me hear another voice as well, and see a high school program laid out. So I'll try to get up there as much as I can.
Our guys, I see the shirts coming in. I
like that. Good.
So So that's always a good thing. So they're in good hands, and like I said, we're all in it together, and I think we're all in it for the betterment of these young men and young ladies, and trying to improve them in any way we can. And I think as long as we're doing that, that's always a good thing.
It's always a good thing. Yeah, the result is not as important. It's just what you're doing, how you're doing it. So.
Yeah, man. Yep.
I appreciate your time. We'll go out here and kick Liam's butt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, thanks. You take care.
All right, man. You as well.
Okay,
see you.